Hello everyone, Super Duper Boy here, back for another Clone Wars review. Now before I give my thoughts on episode 8, I gotta talk about episode 7 a bit more. I gave that episode a 7.5 out of 10, but after part 8, my opinions have changed, and it's moving down to a 6. It's still a fun episode that gave us lots of good Ahsoka scenes, but the only important part was when Trace explained her backstory, which could have been in episode 8, so I just have to bring the score down to a 6 because the episode was kind of filler, though it still had good moments. Anyways, on to episode 8. This is the last episode before we get into the Siege of Mandalore arc, and I think it was pretty good in most ways. And it's basically what episode 7 should have been. It's probably the most important episode in this arc when it comes to story, because, you know, it showed Maul and Bo-Katan. It's really awesome how Maul is back, and he even references Crimson Dawn, which is his crime syndicate in Solo, a Star Wars story. I also like how he was able to sense Ahsoka with the Force. His involvement makes the fact that the Pikes were so desperate to capture Trace, Rafa, and Ahsoka make a lot more sense, because in episode 7 it bothered me how they were just letting so many men die just to get some spice, but now it makes sense because they knew Ahsoka was a Jedi. Speaking of Ahsoka, I really like how at the end Trace and Rafa say she's what a Jedi should be, which is a great little message for this episode, and it's interesting how she was hesitant to help Bo-Katan because she thinks it may lead her back to the Jedi. So yeah, this was a pretty plot important episode, which is something this arc hasn't had that much of. And it's a pretty good episode that gets everyone hyped for the Siege of Mandalore. Bo-Katan was cool here, and I'm excited to see what she does in episode 9 to 12. But every episode has its downsides. I didn't really like the plot line where Trace and Rafa had to go get the spice, and then they fought the workers there. It just seemed way too goofy, and also those little blue aliens didn't really do anything wrong if I remember correctly. Trace and Rafa literally killed one of the workers there. Like, yeah, maybe they work for the Pikes, but still, they were just innocent workers who need to get some cash, so I sort of felt bad for them. And also, I'll admit that Trace is kind of stupid, because she actually thought that Ahsoka betrayed them. She should have been able to figure out that it was part of her plan, because Ahsoka said earlier that they just have to trust her, so that was some unneeded dumbness from Trace. But I do like the end of the Martez sister story, and I'm excited for episode 9, which is probably going to be the start of the best arc. In conclusion, a lot of people don't like episode 5 to 8, mainly because people don't like Trace and Rafa and think the arc isn't important to the story, but I personally like it. It's probably going to end up being my least favorite from the season, but it still gave us some great Ahsoka moments. If we didn't have this arc and it went straight to the Siege of Mandalore, it would have been kind of weird, and I think the Martez sisters are fine. I like their interactions with Ahsoka. They are definitely far from perfect, but I don't think they take away from the story in any way. Actually, they probably improve it, because what they say about what happened to their parents is important to Ahsoka's character and her views on the Jedi. So, for a rating of this episode, I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a very good conclusion to this story arc that sets up the next one. These reviews always take forever to come out, I know, but only like 3 people care, so it's probably fine. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.